Welcome 7th grade. Sorry I wasted 8 seconds of your day. Now today, we're going to learn the why again. Why is important, and I'll hear somebody saying, probably Haley, why would we waste our time with that when we have a calculator that can do the same thing? You need to understand the why as you move on into further mathematics. And it's alright to say, oh, the calculator would save us so much time, but this is giving us an idea of why it works and why it's important in math. We simplify. 6 squared means 6 times 6, 36. 7 squared, 7 times 7, 49. 11 times 11 is 121. 15 times 15 is 225. All right, we know our squares. That is an important part of today's lesson. We want to estimate square roots of numbers to see if things make sense, to make sure estimates, make sure people's numbers they give us are correct. Perfect squares are like the squares we just saw before. 225, 121, 36, 25. They are perfectly divided down into two numbers that do that. Square root means one number multiplied by itself will give you the number you're looking from. Radical sign looks like a division sign, but with the little check mark there. All right? So, a square with sides that measure 3 units, each has an area of 3 by 3 or 3 squared. Notice the area of the square is represented by a power in which the base is the side length and therefore the exponent is 2. A power in which the exponent is 2 is called a square. Base 3, exponent 2. We're dealing with exponents we have before. So, find each square. 12 squared means 12 by 12. In a 12 by 12 square where we have 12 as the length on each side, we get 144 squares. So 12 squared is 144. You can count them all if you want. Remember, you can pause the video and do that. We're not waiting for you. All right, so the square of 12 is 144. 5 squared, 3.5 squared. So 3.5 squared in a calculator, you put 3.5, you put in the exponent of square root. I would prefer you say, 3.5 times 3.5. You can put that in a calculator too. It will work the same way. We're not really ready to jump full-fledged into calculators. All right? Now, 10 squared, nice even number. 10 by 10, we multiply those and we get 100. And the square of 10 is 100. Calculator method, 5.2 squared. Well, you can put 5.2 times 5.2 and get that. That's what I would do. Or you could do 5.2 and do the square button. Make sure you're doing the square button and not the square root button. They're different things. A perfect square is the square of a whole number. The number 36 is a perfect square because 36 equals 6 squared. You get a whole number that you're multiplying by itself. That's what it means to be a perfect square. The square root of a number is one of the two equal factors of the number. 4 is a square root of 16 because 4 times 4 is 16. The symbol for a square root is the radical symbol, which looks like that. All right. So now, this is read, the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 16 is 4. Now, square root of 16, they're going to show us a model. There are 16 squares. We've put them so that they are in a square. And we see 4 by 4. So we know our answer is 4. Now 676, not as easy to deal with. They suggest a calculator. We're going to learn to estimate them in a little bit. How you would do this with a calculator? Second function, x, and then you type in your number and enter. If you have their specific type of calculator you're finding. You will find some calculators where you type in 676 and you hit the radical button. That will sometimes do it. If you don't have those options, we're going to show you other ones. The square root of 676 is 26. Now the square root of 5, hopefully you know these from knowing your multiplication facts. Oh, I know that if I take 5 times 5, that's there. What a square root actually does is you're looking for pairs. Oh, since I've got two 5s, I know the answer to the square root of 25 is 5. Alright, we think of 5 by 5 square, and yes, one side is 5, so we're good to go. The square root of 289. It's literally hitting calculator buttons. Alright, now here's where we get into estimating them. This one is kind of the fun part for me because you have to think and use your logic. Some of you, this will be real easy. Others, it will be extremely hard. Don't get frustrated. So I've got the square root of 40. There is no perfect square for 40. But I've got to think, what is the closest one to 40 that's less than 4? Square root of 36 is 6. What is the next one bigger than 40 that is even? That would be, well, 36, so that's 7 times 7. Square root of 49 is 7. So now we realize the square root of 40 is somewhere between the numbers 6 and 7. I look, this one is 4 away. This one is 9 away. So it's probably closer to 6. And I'm thinking it's probably at like 6.35, maybe 6.4. I think 6.35 would be a pretty good guess. And we have an idea by using our logic. Let's see what they come up with. All right, find the perfect squares nearest to 40. 36 and 49. Okay? When we do that, we take the square root of each. We see that the square root of 36 is 6, 7. We still don't know 40. We're going to make an estimation. All right? The square root of 40 is around 6. Check that. Use a calculator. Oh, 6.32. Now, I've been doing this for a while, so I'm decent at guessing. So, we saw that it was only 4 away here and 9 away here. So, we wanted to go about a third of the way and got 6.35. We were pretty close. All right, let's do another one. Square root of 79. Now, if we look at the square root of 79, I see that above it, square root of 81. That's 9. If I look below it, that would be, okay, that would 8 times 8, that's 64. Square root of 64, that's 8. This one is 15 away. This one is 2. Which one are we going to be a lot closer to, 8 or 9? Probably much, much closer to 9, so we're thinking probably 8.84? Might be. 8.84, that's my estimation. All right? Now you can always type that into a calculator to see if we're right, but we're going to see what they do. Hopefully it's the same thing I did. That'll just make me feel good about it. All right. So we get all our squares. We do the same thing I did. 8 and 9 we see. Okay? It's much closer to the 81, so it's around 9. And when we check it with a calculator, 8.88. Oh, I was off by 4 hundredths. All right. Again, let's try another one. 22. So, I have the square root of 22. No, there's no perfect one. So, square root of 25, I know that's 5. Only 3 away. All right, square root of 16. Oh, that one's 4. That's 6 away. So, that one's 4. We're probably going to be somewhere at 4.67. That's my thought, 4.67. A little bit above half, probably more like 4.7. We'll see. Let's see what their numbers that they come up with are. All right? When we use a calculator, 4.69, off by 2 hundredths. All right. So, I think you're probably starting to get the idea. You're getting a feel for it. We'll do one more just to do it. Right now might be the perfect time for you to stop and try one on your own, or stop and try one on your paper. Then you can come back here and see if you use the right process. I have a square root of 49, that gives me 7. I have a square root of 64, that gives me 8. This one's 4 away. This one is 11 away. We're probably going to be somewhere at like 7.4. That might be a little high. 1. All right. 7.41 is my estimate. Let's check it out. $7.28. Ooh, I was off by quite a bit on that one. All right. Sometimes our estimates are good. Sometimes they're not so good. All right. I think you're starting to get this, but here's how it may be used in real life. A Coast Guard boat searching for a lost sailboat covers a square area of 125 miles. What is the approximate length of each side of the square area? So they're saying we have a square area of water that they looked at. The area was 125 miles squared. So they want to know if it's a square, that means all the sides are the same. So that's where we take 125 and we do the square root of it. And with 125, I know that the square root of 121 is 11. The square root of 144 is 12. And this one's 4 away. That one is 19 away. So I'm probably going to be pretty close to 11.17. Maybe. All right, let's see how I do. See if I estimated better this time than last time. All right, so square root of that. All right, we know that, they use the same numbers. This is off to a good start. It's much closer, so we're going to be around 11. All right, so we estimate that it's around 11, and they don't get to. You can check on your calculator. Now, a tent was advertised in the newspaper as having an enclosed square area. Notice, square area. Always dealing with squares. If you're dealing with rectangles, square roots don't work. Only with squares. Of 168 feet squared. What is the approximate length? Again, we do our 168 square root of. All right. 144 is there, that's 12. I think 13 is 169. All right, and that's 13. We see that we're very close here, so 12.92 maybe? That's if my number's correct there. It's been a little while, and 13 always gave me trouble with square roots. All right, let's see how we did. We do our book here, bada bing, bada boom. Hey, I was right. It is 13, good deal. 168 is very close to that 13, so we'd say 13 feet on each side of the tent. Hopefully you see kind of how that process works. Don't hesitate, this is a difficult task and topic.